Norkerman, a.k.a. LA Bengal fan on Twitter, repping the Bengals.
Dave Green, Browns guy.
Jan Davis Utara, Baltimore Ravens.
Chris Atkins, Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right, guys, so we're going to start on down the line with news, starting off with Mark. Hit it.
All right, well, we don't have a lot, which is actually a good thing, because this is that period of time where coaches and management are sitting on the edge of their seat hoping their phone doesn't ring and they don't see shit on social media from players getting into trouble before training camp. Continue to talk about Bowden, but Duke Tobin has completely denied, said they haven't even spoken with Antoine Bowden. They're not looking to add anybody, so I don't know if it's just Bengal fans wishing to get a former Raven on the team. AJ
Why
McCarron.
the hell would you want that?
You know what? Yeah, the guy was a clutch guy. Clutch, you can't coach. You either have it or you don't, and he was clutch.
Unless it's clutch.
AJ McCarron was rated the #1 backup by the Sporting News. He's a steal for the Bengals right now. I mean, literally, he's on the payroll for $700K a year. That's a bargain, and arguably one of the best backups in the league. Some important dates coming up.
You know it's off season. Like it's not even the preseason. Whenever you're talking about one of the best steals of the league, it's like as a backup.
No, I said he was one of the best values at $700K. So talk to the Steelers, and you guys, you don't exactly have a good backup either. Training camp, important dates. Training camp opens July 29th. Preseason schedules came out, obviously. We've got the Minnesota Vikings, 8-10 and 8-11 joint practices and scrimmage. Obviously, that's no surprise. I mean, Zimmer and Lewis are tight, and they'll be doing those joint practices prior to their game on 8-12. And that's all I've got.
Excellent.
Brownies.
Let's start with some NFL news. Brady's suspension was upheld.
Yes.
4 games for the Brownies getting his first game back. The Von Miller decision, as I was informed, it's not Friday that he has to have his paperwork in. It's by Thursday he has to have his paperwork in.
Yeah, the league has to okay it.
Later
the league
today.
has to okay it. Bill Polian was on the air yesterday saying that you have to have your stuff into the league office Thursday night, Friday morning, first thing.
Yep.
You cannot strike a deal, right before 4 o'clock. The league needs time to okay it.
So that'll be the same thing with Eric Berry over there in Kansas City. And then Colts running back Robert Turbin. I'm going to carry on the marijuana conversation. He was arrested in Utah the other day for a little bit of a possession. I guess he could expect the NFL to call with a suspension. Now on to some Brown stuff. Evan Marcus, not a name everybody knows. He is the strength and conditioning coach, and he has been linked to at least 5 such pectoral injuries that Desmond Bryant suffered this past week.
Yeah.
Bryant's going to be out for the season. So I'm guessing the players that we need to be watching are Mingo, Ogba, and Nazem. One of those guys will take over the starting spot, and the other 2 will end up being the backup right there. Chad Johnson brought in to do route running for the wide receivers. Not hired. He's coming in on his own volition to do it. He asked Hugh. Hugh said, cool, come on down. My personal opinion, I don't think this shit can hurt.
No, Coach Ochocinco.
Yeah, no, exactly.
One of the better route runners in the league during his time.
Absolutely.
Browns preseason. We're at Green Bay, home to Atlanta, at Tampa, and then the 4th game is the Bears. We're going to have two joint practices with Tampa Bay, August 23, August 24. Things I'm looking forward to out of all this shit from the preseason. Week 1, we're getting fucking football back, people.
Yeah,
I know, right?
Absolutely.
Week 3, we get to see who the starters are going to be, and week 4, we get to see who's going to battle for the last couple spots on the roster. That's pretty much all I got for the Brownies.
Awesome. And speaking of Ochocinco, one of my favorite moments in football, I was watching whenever he went to try and tackle Ray Lewis by accident and got his ass knocked down. He was like, and it was what was the line? It was like, I tried to tackle Ray and I lost. All right, so moving on to Baltimore Ravens. We're still in talks with Justin Tucker. Nothing is formally developed. Talks have installed, so that's good. I'm of the thing like, pay him, but let's see how he does over the season. If they wind up doing a deal sooner than that, rock on. Like, I'd love to have him on. I'm really curious to see what Doomerville winds up doing, because he's quoted as wanting to really lead the Ravens in sacks this year, and he's been talking a lot about getting the Super Bowl ring, especially now that the Broncos got one. I'm sure he doesn't have any malice towards them or anything like that. None. He just doesn't keep faxes around his house or anything.
Yeah.
So. Going on to really, there's not a lot going on right now. He's not sure about Brandon Williams, stuff like that. Trying to figure out what's going on there.
America's team, people.
Shut up. As far as preseason goes, our preseason's Preseason is going to be interesting because we got Panthers, Colts, then the Lions, and then the Saints. Panthers, we all know, went to the Super Bowl last year.
Who else plays the Lions for preseason?
We played the Lions
they
also,
play the Lions
yeah.
as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'll be a good gauge then.
Yeah,
That'd be amazing.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. What week do you play them?
2.
Week 2, so we play
Yeah.
them week 3.
3 is the most meaningful game.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
that's where your starters play at least into the third quarter. So.
Exactly. So that's gonna be fun to watch. I'm kind of curious to see what our last preseason game against the Saints is like. I think that's going to be an interesting barometer for where we're at
For the first quarter.
for the first quarter.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
that's.
But I can learn a lot
Yeah.
in one quarter.
Sometimes
You get
it's one
like
series of the
series.
starters.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we're going to talk on regular season games here in just a moment. But that's pretty much it for Baltimore Ravens news. Steelers.
We are less than a month away from our opening preseason game. August 12th. I cannot wait. This year we're opening up with the Lions. And interestingly enough, we're bringing back the joint practices. We have 2 with the Lions this year in Latrobe and Pittsburgh or Pennsylvania. We did away with those for a little while after the disaster with the the Bills a couple years ago.
Wait,
So I'll
you
be
like practicing with the Bills?
What's that?
You don't like practicing with the Bills?
No one likes practicing with the Bills.
I didn't think we did that bad with them the last
Okay,
couple
I guess
years.
I'm going to talk about coming into the Bills later on. Go ahead.
All right. So I'm really excited to see how Artie Burns is going to do in those practices. I think Stafford is an amazing quarterback.
Did you almost say RG3 there?
You sure did.
Absolutely not.
Because he realizes it's America's team.
Absolutely not. Moving on to Le'Veon Bell.
RG dirty, Artie.
Le'Veon Bell.
Let's go.
The contract conversation. He was saying that he does not want to talk about until he's 100% healthy, getting back at it. But things got interesting.
Well, and then he rapped about
He's
it.
a rapper.
He didn't want to
He's a
talk
rapper.
about
He's got a
it,
rap
but I
career.
didn't say I wouldn't rap about it.
Give me
So,
a fucking break. Are you
Wait.
He's
Was that
a
rap or was that hip hop?
You know what?
Are some?
Yeah, no,
there's
there's a.
You have to survive, dude.
No, I'm not trying
Kenny
to lie. I'm
Dubs
asking
stop
as far
for
as
us.
a genre.
That's the real
Anyway,
question.
It was rap. But he stated in a rap that he wants 15 a year.
Even though
So-
AP only gets 12.
That's $3 more million.
And then the next drop off is
For real
huge.
though, like Le'Veon, I feel you. You need $3 more million a year to.
No, he's getting 1 million a year.
Is he really getting a
Oh,
million?
yeah.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
on
my
a
bad.
rookie contract.
I thought you were talking. 12 million total.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
he wants
all right.
15 a
15,
year
yeah,
for
a
his
year.
rap song. I don't
Yeah.
know. He kind of backed off of that once
Yeah.
people called him out on it. But interesting that you don't want to talk about it, but you do want to rap about it. Whatever.
Fair enough.
Let's just hope
Regardless,
he doesn't get his bell rung.
Let's
That's the worst fun I've got, guys.
regardless, I don't think he's going anywhere. He's going to be a Steeler. They're going to find a way to keep him there. I'm not too worried. The only person I'm worried about.
And breaking news: Le'Veon Bell gets signed by the 49ers.
Oh my God.
They'll use the franchise tag 1 year because it's affordable for running backs.
Yeah,
that happens in the
exactly.
top 5. Getting to the next year will be
We'll see
problem.
what happens with it. The only person, and I want to kind of throw a prediction out here. The only person I'm worried whatsoever about leaving from the team this year is going to be Todd Haley. He used to be, or he was previously a head coach with the Chiefs. He had kind of a rocky career there. He came to Pittsburgh. The first couple of years were a little strange. Then now all of a sudden he's got one of the best, if not the hottest offenses out there. There's a certain AFC North team that if they don't make it to the playoffs or at least win their first one in his 14-year career.
Damn, duck chin.
Oh my God.
I think he may be on the hot seat, and I think Todd Haley would love to have some of the tools they got over there in Cincy.
You know, that would actually. I think that would be. I mean, I don't know how you feel.
I don't see it happening.
It wouldn't be
You gotta
bad.
understand.
He hasn't won a single playoff game.
You know
Ever.
what? Like I said, I don't see it happening. They're relevant. They've been in the playoffs 5 straight years.
They're not
Yeah,
relevant in the postseason.
They've got to get over the hump. But I don't see sending Marvin Lewis out with the infrastructure he's built and with the way he's been able to ID and talent coaches. I mean, we get rated every 2 years. Our coordinators go. That's a reflection of Marvin Lewis and the system he has. I just don't see it happening. I don't have
I'm
the
deflating
hate.
like a-
I don't have the hate
Marvin Lewis.
that
Okay,
you
tell me right
have
now.
on
Tell me right
Marvin
now.
Lewis.
You guys don't make the playoffs. Is Marvin there next year?
Done.
Yes.
Done.
Wow.
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 There's
see how
Like,
now,
John Harbaugh didn't make it.
if they don't, if the
absolutely.
team melts down at the end of a game like they did, and they lose a game like they did this last season, then maybe not. But if they make the playoffs and they go in like 2 years ago when they limped in with no receivers, you couldn't hold that against Marvin. He had no team.
Perfect segue. So Joey Porter has his own kind of half rule in the rule book now. It's a clarification. It's not actually a rule change. So as the NFL rule book states, only trainers, substitutes, and kind of team attendants can go onto the field during timeouts. Of course, that is not what happened last year.
No, and the league didn't enforce the rule.
So now they're making a clarification that only head coaches can go onto the field in those cases.
Yeah. And he argued, I was going out to check on my player. He's the fucking linebacker coach. It was Antonio Brown. Last time I checked, that guy's a wide receiver. At least Haley would have had a reason to be out there. Porter had no reason to be out there except to antagonize
Someone's
people.
still butthurt.
I just don't like it when rules are not applied universally. You have a separate set of rules. When, we'll get him on a fine. That's what the commissioner said. He acknowledged that a mistake was made, but then said, we'll fine Joey Porter. That's not the same as moving the ball up 15 extra yards on a field goal. So it worked
out. It worked out.
I'm sure he thought.
And I want to end on this. Javon Hargrave, he's one of our draft picks that I kind of hate on this year because I really liked Andrew Billings there in that third spot. I was a little skeptical, like why would we take someone from a small school? Why would we take someone who was not such a big name? Mm-hmm. But now when I watch some of his tapes, I'm starting to like him a lot more. One thing I noticed from watching his tape is he is fast. I mean, for a big kid, he is fast. He gets in there and he doesn't whiff on quarterbacks. For someone who's 309 pounds, when you're running full speed at a quarterback half your size, it's easy for those guys to kind of give you the whoop, whoop. Not happening to him. He gets in there. He does not miss. I'm excited to see him out there this year.
He's so excited.
I am. I'm excited to see him out there this year.
All right, guys. So let's move on to our actual discussion for the week, which is regular season games. So we have about 8 minutes basically to talk about this. So let's start on down and we'll go with the Bengals first.
Okay, well, you know what? The Bengals have a very tough start to the schedule. They start with 4 of their first 6 on the road, all against quality opponents. I don't know who the Bengals pissed off in the scheduling department at the NFL, but this is actually the 7th straight season they open on the road. The next closest team to consecutive seasons starting on the road was the Ravens at 4. Yep. It ends this year because they open at home. We're now 7th straight season on the road, opening the season. But we go New York, Pittsburgh, Denver, Miami, Dallas, New England. I mean, those are and 4 of those are on the road. We only have Denver and Miami at home. So, I mean, if we can start the season 4-2, 3-3, we're going to be fine. But that is a tough start. Baltimore had a similar start last year with 4 road games out of their first 6, and it didn't go so well. So, and we get now you're going to get Brady on week 5. We get Brady on week 6 in New England. We all know what happened the last time we went to New England. We kind of got a pissed off Brady following a complete shellacking in Kansas City, and Belichick saying, we're on to Cincinnati. So it's going to be interesting to see how this works out. Would love to smack him around because he's rusty, but we'll see. We'll see what you guys. Hopefully you guys soften him up. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Browns.
Browns, 5 of our first 7 are on the road. We've got week 2 at home against Baltimore, and then week 5, like Mark just said, at home against New England. Again, we end the season against Pittsburgh. I'm not sure if their playoff hopes got to come through. Let's wait till we get into the season and see about that shit. Yeah. Also, at the back end of the season, Cleveland and Baltimore, we only have 2 divisional games in that last month. Where Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, they play 3. Interesting fact here, Pittsburgh has 2 games in their last 8 against 500 teams. Indy and Cincy. It's the same thing with Cincinnati. They got Pittsburgh and Houston at 10-6 and 9-7. Yeah. And Baltimore has 4 games. They got Cincinnati twice, New England and Pittsburgh. And for the Brownies, we got 3, plus the bye. So I'm hoping we can beat the bye and beat Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh again. That's pretty much about it.
Careful.
Just shit, fuck off.
All right, moving on to Ravens. So our first regular season game is actually one that's kind of like an interesting homecoming because we're playing at home against the Bills, who have 5 former Ravens. Because you got Rex Ryan, you've got Thurman, you've got Ed Reed, Corey Graham, actually, Tyrod Taylor. So you've got a bunch of former Ravens, and it's also on 9/11. So that game is going to be that's going to be a game that everybody's going to be watching. Now here's some stuff that's really interesting to me is that on October 16th, October 23rd, we play both the Giants and the Jets at the same stadium.
Okay.
MetLife Stadium for both games.
Don't they share the same stadium?
Hang out?
Yeah, we're just basically chilling. Like it's.
Well, you guys have the ability then to stay there.
Yeah,
if I'm
totally.
Not mistaken.
We're actually that's what I expect to have.
You can at least leave your gear in the locker. You guys can come back and stay in the locker. Second game, it'll actually feel like a home game.
Well, here's the other thing: is like we play the Steelers twice after our bye. And we play them right after the bye, so we're going to be coming up off of after fresh legs to come right after the Steelers, and then our last 4 games are murder because we've got the Patriots, we've got Eagles. Luckily, like who knows what the hell the Eagles are actually going to do themselves if they implode. But then we got the Steelers and the Bengals, and we're playing both the Steelers and the Bengals. I mean, we're playing the Steelers on Christmas Day, and then. It's
Bengals on New Year's Day.
And we're playing, and then we're playing on New Year's. We're playing the Bengals, so it's gonna be happy holidays.
Happy New Year!
It's gonna be happy holidays. So honestly,
playoff implications could be right there.
Exactly. There's a lot of games that like because we're playing the Jags, we're playing the Raiders who beat us last year. Luckily this year we're playing them at our house instead of theirs. I was there last year for that, and it was not pretty.
The Raiders are not a bad team.
They're not bad at all.
And
they're
better and
I have a good I think Raiders are going to be a team to like really come up in the next year or two, if not at the very latest 3.
I don't hear people talk about Cooper as one of the best receivers.
I think the
honestly,
AC/DC combination is so ridiculous.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, but I've got the Broncos as the number 3 team in the West this year.
Yeah.
With the quarterbacks they're coming in with, I like the Raiders and the Chiefs a whole hell of a lot better because I don't think they're going to put enough points on the board for the defense to win games.
I also think it depends on what happens with the talks with Eric Berry because contract talks with him is stalled. So I mean, what's happening there?
The Chiefs will be interesting because I want to see what's going to happen with Charles.
Yeah, well, that's the big thing. We won't know until the season starts, just like Bell.
Yeah.
You don't know how the surgery went until he gets out there.
Does anybody know who Kansas City's running back is? Backup wise?
Chandrick West. Yeah, they've got one, and they've got a new guy that they brought in.
Yeah. So anyway, Ravens, we get our second half of the season is a really, really tough one. We'll know more as the season develops, but I am not looking forward to those last 4 games. I think that they're all still winnable, absolutely. Especially since last year we swept the Steelers twice with 21 players on injury reserve towards the end. So I think that again, it's gonna be. It might be a really rough season. It might be a star-studded season. So that's what I got right now. Also, this is the first year that the Ravens are the only ones in the AFC North to not have joint practices.
Yeah, that's odd. I don't know how that happened.
Have they said why you guys have decided not to?
I think it just didn't work out for us. I think that
nobody wants to play.
It's also a relationship with coaches. I mean, we're doing our thing with Zim because
it's politics.
Yeah, it's
so we don't have a lot of time.
Yeah,
move on to Steelers.
So one of the main things I want to talk about here, one of the big issues about our schedule this year is that we're playing on all the holidays. So we've got the Colts on Thanksgiving, the Ravens on Christmas Day. Spoiler alert: a ticket to that game is probably going to be my girlfriend's Christmas gift this year. We've got the Browns.
Is that really her Christmas
girlfriend?
gift?
You didn't hear that.
She's gonna love it.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we get the Browns on New Year's Day, which is the gift that just kind of keeps on giving in Pittsburgh.
Oh, man.
Isn't it like getting a power drill for your wife? I mean, you got Steeler tickets for your girlfriend.
No, it's kind of like. No, here's the thing. It's kind of like getting a treadmill. It's like getting a treadmill for your wife.
I just heard that.
But baby, you said you want to work out. I thought we were going to work out.
I got Bengal tickets. Great. Now what did I get? Right?
It is what you got.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, we don't have. We're playing. I mean, we got our 6 games. The only other team out there that's really scaring me on our schedule right now is the Patriots. I mean, they're always going to play us tough. I fucking hate playing those guys. But I don't see. I think the Steelers are going to whip ass this year. I mean.
There you go.
16-0.
He's already going.
You also thought you were going to beat the Ravens twice last year.
Let's not even talk about that.
Yeah, no, let's talk about that because I think that is extremely important to keep in perspective that last year, all the hopes in the world, and then they just
If it happens again,
Mike Tomlin's going down.
I will go find myself a Ryan Mallett jersey.
Here's what I don't understand.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Oh, okay. All right.
We're just going with that.
All right. Ryan
Here's what I
Mallett,
don't
Ravens
understand.
jersey.
You got a Swiss cheese secondary.
Yeah.
That you're going into the season. I get it. You guys have it's a high-powered offense. You've got teams that are going to try to control the clock, limit possessions. You've got a Swiss cheese secondary.
Yeah.
You should have concerns. I mean,
we
you hang all your hopes on Artie Burns, who's a project. You're not going to see payday from him for the next 2 years. So
Ground and pound them and control the clock.
Yeah.
Defense is what wins championships.
Exactly. The Broncos last year.
This is the one time where the Steelers are coming in with the really thin defense, and the guys you have are old.
All right.
So I'm just saying.
First of all,
you got
be
30
careful.
seconds.
Be careful with Artie Burns.
Yeah.
Be careful with Artie Burns. He's practicing with AB, and you don't get a much better.
He's practicing with AB.
You take that guy off the
The
field.
linemen, the
all have
quarterbacks,
receivers.
the secondary, they're all practicing with
Our
that guy.
DBs have to cover AJ. I mean, we all have marquee guys that they've got to cover. Like I said, I applaud your confidence. I just question them. You're talking like you're going to go 16-0, and I mean, with that defense, I don't understand the confidence. But it's good. I applaud it.
Just remember the Panthers lost to the Falcons last year.
Also, last year,
Anything can happen.
for most of the season, we're missing Bell, we're missing Pouncey. We get those guys back. Hey, but maybe we have a ring. Maybe we have 7.
But you're talking about the
All right,
offensive side.
All right, guys. We gotta move on and close the show out. Want to give some shout outs to YouTube commenters.
Yeah,
we have was it Ninja Spence?
We had Spade Ninja 9 was
Spade
a new
Ninja 9
commenter, and Brett Carroll.
And Brent Carroll, thank you guys for commenting. We really appreciate it.
good comments,
Feel free to
yeah.
comment on our
Thank
YouTube
you.
channel. We didn't have time to get to an AFC North mailbag. We did get some of your questions. We're going to save those for our next episode. Feel free to email us at AFC Northerners on Twitter or email us through our Gmail, afcnortherners@gmail.com with the subject of mailbag. If you send us a video, we will put that online if we like your question. And also, anybody else got a shout out?
Yeah, I had a quick shout out to a good friend of mine, T.O., and his wife. She's at MD Anderson in Houston going through chemotherapy right now. So we love you. Our prayers are with you. And so that's my shout outs to T.O. and Heather.
As somebody who survived cancer,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Got you. All right, guys. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Make sure you tune in to us. We're going to
Fantasy
be back.
football, if you want to play it with us.
Yeah, fantasy football.
Yeah.
Feel free to. We're going to be creating that soon up. We're back in what? 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
So we're going to see you guys in 2 weeks, and then we'll have so much more to talk about as preseason starts.
Should we put a Reddit post out there for the fantasy football?
Yeah, we will. We'll be posting on Reddit for the fantasy football.
Cool.
Anyway, guys, we're going to go ahead and get out of here, and we're going to sign off as we always do with Fuck the Patriots and Tom Brady.
Yeah. See ya.
All right, guys. Bye.